was awesome. Time to review Loki. This should be pretty cool. All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lapsed Comic Fan. All right, man, that was awesome. Time to review Loki. This should be pretty cool. All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lapsed Comic Fan. What the hell was that? I have an idea. Even flying solo today. Fuck. I'm talking 3D. Alright, man, that was awesome. Time to review Loki. This should be pretty cool. Alright. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lapsed Comic Fan. Spoilers. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lapsed Comic Fan. I may or may not be the Steve that hosts this show. I don't remember which timeline this is. But we are talking about Loki, so let's talk about Loki. How did everybody like it? I loved it. I thought it was awesome. There was a lot of cool shit in it. I really liked how they're doing the whole TVA, the Time Variance Authority. The Timekeeper's explanation was kind of crazy. There was also a lot of cool parts that explain some things from the older movies, kind of like everybody has that question of with Cap when he went back in time, and Loki said, you know, the Avengers messed with time, and he said, yeah, they were supposed to. I don't know if they were talking about that instance or just the instance that Loki brought up, but kind of sums up everything. So where did Loki go after he took the Tesseract? He ended up going to the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. That's where we first meet the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. They take him to the TVA where he basically, it's like time jail, and he goes through this rigmarole of things that are kind of just funnier and funnier. We find out that he's definitely not a robot, and then he goes to wait in line to get his ticket, and he gets his ticket, and we have one of the most interesting parts of the show where he's waiting in line, and he's watching this little cartoon where Miss Minutes, we get introduced to Miss Minutes, the clock, and she explains about being there and what there is, what the Time Variance Authority is, and there was all these timelines in this multiversal war, and the Timekeepers combined or ended the war, whatever, somehow. I know they explained it. You guys all know if you've watched it. She talks about how they ended the war and they created the sacred timeline, and they hit on that a lot, this sacred timeline. Now, how if you step out of this sacred timeline, you're what's called a variant, and that's what Loki is. And he doesn't believe any of this, and we finally get introduced to Owen Wilson's character, Mobius. I'm never going to be able to get that because I'm going to keep calling him Owen Wilson, Mobius, or Owen Mobius. We see him, he's in, where was he at? He was in 1549 in Aizon, France. I'm probably saying that wrong. They were looking for a specific variant that's been killing the Minutemen. That's what the TVA police are called. And they see this little girl, and Owen Mobius talks to her, and he asks, do you know who did this? She points to the stained glass window, and it's the devil, but it's got Loki horns, and there's Loki symbolage up there. And it's like, okay. I didn't really even think about it till the end, and I was just like, oh, duh, you know. And she had gum, which was kind of crazy, being in 1549. And he said the devil comes bearing gifts. So we get Loki in court, which was a great scene. The judge talks about the timekeepers and how they dictate the flow of time, and a bunch of bull crap that makes some sense. But I thought it was really good scene, and Owen Wilson takes Loki out, and they do the whole thing where the villain's gonna help the cop. Basically, the suspect's gonna help the cop do the whole Hannibal Lecter thing, and we get this scene where Mobius is walking Loki back to his office, and Loki talks about he's going to burn the whole place down, and he looks out this window, and you see the like where they live, the TVA, and it's this so future city. And he was talking about, well, I thought you said magic doesn't exist here, and he's like, it doesn't. And it's crazy, man, and it's a hit it Owen Wilson moment. Wow. Yeah, so I thought that was really cool, and makes a very interesting comment. I can't remember exactly how it went, but he was talking about burning it to the ground. And he said something about it being a nightmare, and he said, no, that's a different department. I'll help you burn that department to the ground myself. Something along those lines. He said something like that. I'm sure you can correct me because I'm wrong. I know he didn't say it like that, but it's crazy, man. And they get to the big part of the show where he has this conversation with Loki and shows him his past, and he talks about the reason Loki asked him why I never heard of the TVA if you're such this big thing, and he said you had no reason to, you stayed within your path. It was like Loki's arguing with him, no, I did these decisions. He's like, yeah, sure, buddy. Owen Wilson, Mobius makes this comment that's pretty crazy. He talks about Loki lying or something, and he's like, says something about wooing the person you're about to betray. And it was, because he was showing him his past and stuff he didn't tell him yet he was going to show him the future. He starts showing it to him. But it was cool because it was like the Thanos thing. And one of the coolest things ever during Loki's greatest hits, Loki is D.B. Cooper. Who knew? And it was because he lost a bet to Thor. I want to know what that bet's about. I just want to know. So it gets to the part where he sees his mom's death, and he learns that he inadvertently betrays his mother, and he feels terrible. He doesn't believe it. And he ends up, Owen Wilson Mobius gets called away. More Minutemen have died, and Loki ends up stealing, pickpocketing him and taking the time twister. And he uses it to get away. And this is where we meet Casey, who's pretty cool, man. I know people are going to like him for no reason other than his, innocence, because he doesn't know what a fish is. So people are like, I like him, and I do too. So we find Loki has a big realization point here because he's been after the Tesseract, this power thing that's consumed him. And whenever he tells Casey he wants it back, Casey gets it out of his drawer, and he looks, and there's tons of Infinity Stones from all over the multiverse. And he's like, and Casey says, yeah, some of us use them for paperweights. And he's just like, what? It was like one of the first realization points after he's seeing his mother die, where he's kind of just angered. And he's like, holy shit, is this like the greatest power in the world? And the time police comes back in, he escapes, and he goes back to where Mobius was having the conversation with him, and he fast forwards more, sees his dad die, sees more of his future, and then sees sees his death. And that's where he gets his resolution and his reason, for being. And he has the fight that I think everybody wanted to see, or at least, because everybody loves Loki. It's not because of the horns. It can't be because of the horns. It's got to be because of Tom Hiddleston, because he's awesome, but Loki kind of sucks in the comics. I mean, he just sucks, let's be honest. And he finally fights with the guard, and he has the time twister thing and takes the collar off somehow with the thing and slaps it on her neck and just starts fucking with her, just starts messing with her, and it's great. It's hilarious. Yeah, so he finally gets his revenge on her. So Loki sits there, and he finally has his come to grips moment, and Mobius comes back in and kind of explains the whole ordeal, what's going on, asks him if he tried to use the Tesseract, said yeah, a bunch of times. and Loki realizes what he is, and Mobius tells him, you know, the whole story. We need your help, and this variant we're searching for is you. Oh no! Oh my goodness! Who would have thought? But I thought that was really cool that it's him, and it's interesting because of the ending where they go to, it's 1858 in Saline, Oklahoma. There's the Minutemen come through a portal, and there's oil all over the ground, and they believe it's just somebody who got their hands on a time machine and wanted to strike it rich, which is weird because the time machine, if that's what they were assuming by what they were looking at, looked kind of like a shovel. So the time shovel is now in play. We have a time shovel. And he says, yeah, just reset it. And one of the Minutemen women sees something, and she's like, look, there's someone there, and it's someone in a cloak, and they have a lantern. They drop it, and everything goes up, and they kill them and catch on fire, and one of them's trying to get away, and it looks like they get pulled back. And we see this fire burning and this person silhouette in a cloak. Is it Loki? I don't know. Is it him? It's supposedly him. They say it's him. The time variant authority says it is. Do I trust them? I don't know. But what did you guys think of Loki? I thought it was awesome. I can't wait to see what happens. It leads so much into a lot of things with the time stuff. It kind of, with the Avengers and stuff like that, they kind of said, yeah, that's what they were supposed to do. But I think it's crazy that 2012 Loki watched his, you know, death and stuff like that, and we are seeing what happened if he never would have participated in the rest of the movies. None of those events happened. I think it's crazy, man. And when he saw his death and all that stuff happen, I wonder what he thinks happened to Thor, you know, and he won't ever be able to see that version of Thor ever again. Or will he? So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you liked it, and I know it's going to be a lot better because the show's going to be awesome, man. If the first episode is this good, it can only get better. All right, peace out. All right, yeah, so I've been collecting X-Men, the Dawn of X, and House of X, and Powers of 10 and 10 of Swords. I'm a huge Hickman fan. I have the whole Avengers run and a bunch of others. The only one I don't have from Dawn of X all the way up to 10 of Swords is Volume 8 of Dawn of X. For some reason, it's like the Holy Grail. I've pre-ordered every other one through all of them, and for some reason, 8 just slipped my mind, apparently, and I can't get a copy anywhere. But this is 16, the Storm on the front. It's badass. I have the Reign of X up to 7 pre-ordered, so it's pretty cool, man. We'll be reviewing those, you know, book by book. It'll be a fun time. Awesome.